So today we'll be talking about word stress. You asked me to talk about this. Now, word stress is, as the name itself suggests, that it is about stressing something. It has got something to do with words and stress. Word stress, it is not about emphasizing certain words, the complete words. Word stress concerns with emphasizing particular parts of different words. For example, when I say when I say China, China. So it has two syllables. So I put stress on the first one, cha, China. So cha and then na. Na is less stressed when we pronounce it, when we speak it. So na is less stressed. So words, see, every language has its pattern of stress. Every language has its unique patterns of stress, and there are certain languages which do not have any stress at all in their language. So, for example, French is a language where people pronounce all the words with equal emphasis on all the parts or all the syllables of the word. So, but English is a language which deals in word stress, that is, which uses word stress, and the rules of word stress. I mean, we have to remember many things when we are emphasizing particular syllables and when we are not emphasizing the other ones. So there are many rules that we have to follow, and English is a language which relies very much on word stress for its meaning also. For example, there is this word called present. Yes, so it is used as a noun and it is used as a verb. Yes, noun is present, means a gift. Yes, and present is to present something. Yes, so when we use it as a noun, then we would be emphasizing a different syllable, and when we use it as a verb, we would be emphasizing a different syllable. So in English, the meaning of a word changes according to the stress. So when we have to learn the language properly, then we need to learn word stress also, so that we are able to express the meaning clearly. For example, if you say that I was, or if you want to say that my mother gave me a present, and you say my mother gave me a present, so the meaning changes completely. When it is a noun, you would say present. When it is a verb, you would say present. Yes. So I mean, to use the language properly, we need to understand the concept of word stress. Now, before word stress, we need to know what is a syllable. I have talked about syllables. Yes? We understand what is a syllable? कौन बताएगा syllable क्या होता है? भूल गए? वॉबल, वॉबल को सिलेबल नहीं कहते हैं, वॉबल साउंड. Yes, syllable is you could say it is a unit of pronunciation where there is one vowel sound. This vowel sound could have consonant sounds with it, or it could not have. I mean, it might have, it might not have, depending on the word. But it has one vowel sound is one syllable. Yes, so there are words with only one syllable. There are words with two syllables, three syllables, multiple syllables, 4, 5 syllables also. Yes, so one vowel sound. When we are talking about word stress, when we think of syllable, you should not think about how the word looks. You should think about how the word sounds. Yes. So when I say, I'm giving a very simple example. When we say forget, forget. So it has consonants, but it has only two vowel sounds, o and e. Forget. So it will be having only two syllables. So one syllable is one vowel sound. And there is another very interesting way of knowing how many syllables a word has. I have learned it recently, so I would like to share it with you. That you put your hand under your chin and then you pronounce the word. So you say forget. I mean, as many syllables in a word, as many times your chin would drop on your hand. This is just a trick for if you find it confusing to count the number of syllables in a word, then you can use it. Forget. Yes. Teacher. So it has two syllables. So this is just a trick. Otherwise, you should listen for the word, and there are as many syllables in a word, as many vowel sounds are there. Do not count the vowels. Look for the vowel sounds. So when since we are talking about word stress has got everything to do with word syllables. Yes. So we need to know which syllables in a word to stress and which syllables not to stress. And there are many rules for this, but there are two basic rules that we have to remember when we are thinking about word stress. So there are two basic rules that we have to remember. So first rule is one word, one stress. Every word has only one syllable which is stressed. All the other syllables will be unstressed. Every word. I mean, there are many words, many long words that have secondary stress, but secondary stress is very small and it is not very significant. So generally, I'm talking about the general rules. The general rule is that one word could have only one stress. So only one syllable in the whole word would be stressed. All the other syllables would be unstressed. And the second rule is only vowels are stressed. Consonants are not stressed. Obviously, since we are talking about syllables and one syllable is one vowel sound. So if we are emphasizing a syllable, that means we are emphasizing on the vowel sound. So only vowels are stressed, consonants are not stressed. These are two basic rules about learning word stress. So I hope these two rules are clear. Every word has only one syllable which would be stressed, and only vowels would be stressed, consonants are not stressed. Okay. Now, how to know which of the syllables to stress and which of the syllables not to stress? So, there are various rules for this. Okay, before we talk about the different rules, I just give you an example how one single word can have, and one single category of words can have different stress patterns. So, for example, there is this word photograph, there is this word photographer, and there is this word photographic. Okay. So, the proper way of pronouncing these words is photograph would be said photograph. So, the stress is on the first syllable, photograph. Yes. Then photographer. The proper pronunciation would be photographer. So the stress is on the second syllable. Yes, photographer. And this third word, photographic. Photographic. So the stress is on the second last syllable. Last but one. So this is just an example. We will know the rules very shortly, but this is just an example how one kind of words can be, they are pronounced, not can be, but they are pronounced in different ways. So we never say photograph, we say photograph. This is the proper way of pronouncing this word, proper English way of pronouncing it. We do change the pronunciation according to our native language, but since we have to learn the language in its pure form, so we would pronounce it as photograph, photographer. It is not photographer. Yes, it is photographer and photographic. Okay, this is clear. So now we come to the rules. See, these rules are general rules. I mean, they general. I mean, I would say that they are applied in most of the situations, but not all. So when I say a noun, when you have a noun, the first syllable would be stressed. That is a case most of the time, not all of the time. There are exceptions to every rule. And see, word stress is a confusing thing. So even the native speakers, there are certain words where even the native speakers, they do not agree whether to stress the first syllable in that word or to stress the second syllable in that word. So these rules that we are talking about, they are applied most of the time, but they are not correct all of the time, and there are exceptions to these rules. So the first basic rule is that if you have a noun that has two syllables, noun with two syllables, then the first syllable would be stressed. For example, जो मैंने अभी बताया था आपको, teacher, teacher, China, India. Yes. So this is a stress mark. We put it this way. So there are two ways of putting it. Somewhere, many times people would put it at the beginning of the syllable, and many times they put it at the end of the syllable. Both the ways it's correct. Yes. So teacher, China, India, table. Yes. Present. I will be talking about this word once again. Present. Or climate. Yes, all these words, when you have a two syllable noun, then the first syllable is stressed. Is this clear? If you have two syllable adjectives, अभी noun के साथ में हम adjectives भी जोड़ देते हैं. If you have two syllable adjectives, even then the first syllable would be stressed. Clever. Adjectives, you understand? Adjective is something which would qualify the noun, which would tell some additional information, some quality of the noun. So, clever, stupid. Yes? Is this clear? Clear to everybody? If you have a two syllable noun or adjective, you would always stress the first syllable. ठीक है? Okay. But if you have verbs or prepositions, two syllable verbs or two syllable prepositions, then the stress would be on the second syllable. For example, this is an example. If it is used as a noun, if this word is used as a noun, then you would say present. My father bought me a present. Yes. But if you use it as a verb, I presented. Are you getting it? वो stress समझ में आ रहा है आपको? I presented. So the stress is on the second syllable. Yes. So if a verb has two syllables, then the stress is on the second syllable. ऐसे ही एक और word है बहुत सारे words हैं which act as a noun and which act as verbs also. For example, there is this word object. If you are using it as a noun, I found an object. Yes, and then when you say I object to it, I object, it is a verb. So you stress the second syllable. I found an object. She is the object of my desire. And this is an example. So you stress the first syllable. If you use it as a noun, you stress the first syllable. You use it as a verb, you stress the second syllable. Is this clear?
Yes.
Present, export, begin, begin, begin is a verb. Yes, two syllable verb. So you stress the last syllable. Decide. Yes, you will never say decide. You always say decide. So you put that additional stress on the second syllable. Is this clear? Two syllable nouns. Which syllable would be stressed? First syllable. Two syllable verbs. Second syllable. The same goes with preposition. If you have two syllable prepositions, before, yes, between. So you always stress on the second syllable. If you have a two syllable preposition, you will always stress the second syllable. Is this clear? याद हो गया? Noun, first syllable. Verb, second syllable. If they are two syllable words, we have different rules for words with more than two syllables. But if we have two syllable words, receive, deceive, the stress is on the second syllable. But these are verbs, huh? I received. She deceived me. So the stress is on the second syllable. And if it is a noun, the stress would be on the first syllable. Okay. Then there are various words which are longer, which have three or maybe more than three syllables. So for those words, there are certain rules that we have to remember. So there are words which end in IC or TION or SION. Yes? बहुत सारे words होते हैं ना इसमें. So, if we have words ending with IC or TION or SION, then the stress would be on the, we call it penultimate syllable. Penultimate is last but one, not the last syllable which is exactly before the last syllable. So, if for example, if we have four syllables in a word, so the penultimate syllable would be third. If we have five syllables in a word, then the penultimate syllable would be the fourth one. So, words which end in IC or TION or SION, then we put stress on the last but one, जिसको आप second last भी बोलते हैं, second last syllable. For example, graphic, geographic, yes, और बताइए कि एग्जाम्पल दीजिए. Tragic, though it does not, it has only two syllables, but it ends with IC. Yes. Geologic, biologic. Yes. समझ में आ रहा है? What's so funny about it?
Actually, from the word geologic, we found logic. So.
Okay. Yes. Logic, geologic. अगर हम किसकी बात करें? Revelation. Revelation. Yes. Revolution. Conclusion. So, कौन सा syllable stressed है? For example, if you write conclusion, इससे बिल्कुल पहले वाला, just before the last one, conclusion, revelation. So, if, I mean, this is simple. If the words end with these suffixes, you could say, then you would be stressing on the last but one syllable, penultimate syllable. I would have loved to make you listen to some audio files, but as I told you, that technology has a way of deceiving us. It always does. जब भी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत होती है कुछ, तब तो सेव करती है. I will talk about only one more rule today, otherwise you'll get confused. There are many words which end with CY or PY or PHY or GY or AN. Okay? There are many words which end, and usually these words are longer words. They are not two syllable or one syllable words. They would be having more than two syllables. So these kind of words, they have their stress on the third last syllable. अभी हमने पहले पढ़ा था second last. They will have their stress on the third last. Third last को हम बोलते हैं antepenultimate. Penultimate के भी पहले वाला. ठीक है? So third, आप इसको easy तरीके से याद रखने के लिए ऐसे सोच सकते हैं. Third last syllable. The third last syllable would be, if we have 5 syllables in a word, then yes. If we have 4 syllables in a word, then this will be the third last. Yes. So, for example, words ending in CY. Democracy. De is one. Mo-cre-cy. So we stress mo. Democracy. This is the proper way of pronouncing this word. We, because of the influence of our native language, we could pronounce it in different ways. We do. हम democracy बोलते हैं ना बहुत बार. But then that is not how native English people pronounce it. They would pronounce it as democracy. Yes, and then give me some more examples. Yes. Okay. For this one, you could say critical. Critical. Yes. Then dependability. Yes. Geography. Yes. So these words, these kind of words which end with these letters, CY, TY, PHY, GY or AL. So you would be stressing the third last syllable instead of stressing the any other syllable. And we remember this rule that we will be stressing only one syllable, one word. So there will be only one syllable which will be stressed. So when we say democracy, Then MO is stressed, all the other syllables would be unstressed. Unstressed would mean that see, stress is so important in English language that it is said that if you can find out the meaning of a word on the stress pattern. And if you are listening to somebody and you are not able to listen to him properly, and if you pay attention to the stress pattern, you could understand what he says. And the stress pattern is so important in English. So you need to learn the proper way of stressing the syllables, the correct syllables. So the next time you speak something, try to think according to the stress pattern. Now there are many, these are just few examples. These are just very few examples that I have given you so that you can understand the basic rules, the basic idea. But there are many words. For example, there is this word television. Okay, so there are people who would be stressing the last but one syllable, so they would say television. And there are many people, even the native Britishers, they would be saying television. So these rules, they just guide you, but then there are many exceptions to these rules. We have to remember that. But they just guide you as to how to look for pronunciation. So when you are looking for a word's meaning in a dictionary, always look for the pronunciation. And when you are looking for the pronunciation, then make sure that you look for the stress marks also. Stress marks, as I told you, stress marks, ऐसे ये वाला निशान होगा word में, and you will understand where you have to put the stress, which syllable would be stressed in that particular word, and you'll be able to pronounce it properly. So we say development. Yes? I mean, you look for it in the dictionary and you understand. There are certain other words also. See, there are compound words also. Compound words होते हैं ना, जैसे कि greenhouse is a compound word. It has been made by combining these two words, green and house. So there is this rule for compound words also, that if that compound word is a noun, then you will be stressing the first syllable, the first part of that word. So when you say greenhouse, you would not say greenhouse. You would say greenhouse. You would say blackbird. Yes? But if the compound word is an adjective, good nature, so you would always be stressing on the second part, good nature. And if that compound word is a verb, for example, understand, then you stress on the second part. So when a compound word is a noun, you would be stressing on the first part. And if it is an adjective or a verb, then you would be stressing on the second part. So bad tempered, good nature, you are stressing on the second syllable. And if it is a verb, then also you would be stressing on the second syllable. Is this clear?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So this is all for today.